I'm ready. It's recording.
Okay, well, thank you, SCORE, for sponsoring this webinar. We have also Amanda with the Danbury Library. Welcome to the 3 key principles that grow your business, create more profits, and have more free time. So welcome. And there's a saying here, 80% of success happens just by showing up. So thank you all for showing up. There's going to be a ton of you out there in the cloud, and I'm really happy and I'm humbled that you're all attending. Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Dom Chiarella, and let me tell you just a little bit about myself so you have a reference and see if you want to even listen to me. For over 40 years, I partnered, managed, and grew 3 multi-million-dollar business. I sold all of them by 2011. On 1/1/11, January 1st, 2011, I started a sabbatical. It's been about a 15-year sabbatical. I'm what you call a perpetual student. I found coaches on my way to become a better speaker, podcaster, workshop leader, and coach. Now, my sabbatical over 15 years, part of it has been with SCORE, and part of it has been with coaching companies from really all over the world. So I want to share today my experiences, my journey, and the love of helping you grow your business, but also have more success in your life. Now, one of my businesses, I found a photo, and in this photo was my 3rd company. Now, as you could see, this is a newspaper clipping, and this was my 3rd company, was a property management company. I was a landscaper, or so we called ourselves that. Now, if you notice, I had a lot of protective gear on. My eyes, my ears, of course, my 6-pack, and I'm sure I had steel toe sneakers. But if you read the caption, you can't read the caption on the bottom, but I'm going to read it for you. We were on a rampage of growth. Well, at least to me and my partner. We were 2 young Italian boys full of piss and vinegar running our company. And we were doing everything. We were working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We thought we were businessmen. So what does it take to be a leader and grow a great company? One that is meaningful to your clients, to your employees, your community, your vendors, your family, and most importantly, to you. Now, we all have reasons to grow our companies. Some of us just like to own our own business. Some of us like the freedom to live, work where you want to. Maybe you want your family and community to be proud of you. You want to grow something amazing. Most of us are business people. We want to make more money. I believe, though, that we want to dream to be successful in the truest sense of the word. Because my dream, I grew my business. I worked hard. I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that I could give my daughters what I thought they needed. You see, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with triplet daughters. So 3 or 4 years into our business, as we were working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I was blessed again with these beautiful 3 daughters. Now, I can remember when they were 4 years old. My wife and I wanted to do a vacation. So I got on my hands and knees and I grabbed my daughters, my eye length right here. And I said, girls, we're going to Mickey's house. Now you can imagine the pandemonium, 4-year-olds running around. Now this was our first vacation. Now I'm running a business here. I'm doing everything. This is a 24-hour day, 7 days a week. I thought I was a businessman, but doing everything means I had to set them up to go on vacation. So I get everything all set with everybody as much as I can. We have 6 crews, office, payroll, accounts payable, you name it. I got it all set up. I knew I was going to be on vacation. So we get there. We're having a blast. Now, our daughters are dragging us all over the place. We're going from one side of the park, small world after all, going to Peter Pan. They're dragging us all around, even those crazy ass, nauseating teacups. But all morning long, I'm taking phone calls. I thought I was on vacation. I just thought. I had no clue that I was on the phone at all. But I was taking calls, answering everything possible. I was still at work. I just didn't know that. So finally, we're in Tomorrowland. And we're getting off a ride. I'm coming down the chute, holding one daughter by hand, one by my pant leg. And all of a sudden, I get a call again. Boom, I take this call. And all of a sudden, my daughters start pulling on my pant leg, going, Daddy, please get off the phone. Another one's going, Daddy, you could imagine, go, we're at Mickey's house. And I go, girls, it's just one phone call. And just then, my third daughter comes flipping over like a ninja right in front of me and goes, no, Daddy, you're on the phone all the time. I've got to tell you, I didn't know what to say because they're right. My girls were upset. That's why I think God gave me triplet daughters. You know, one, Daddy, you're on the phone. Daddy, you're on the phone. Daddy, you're on the phone. So they were right. What I thought I was giving my daughters, it's not what they needed. They needed my attention. They needed my focus, and they wanted my time. So I had to put a smile back on their faces. And I know you guys know there's one thing that puts a smile on everybody's face. And I guess I don't think could you guess it? Ice cream. You got it. So as my girls were painting their faces with ice cream, it hit me. I realized my company was running me, and I was not running the company. I needed to make changes. We were 3 years in. I was up all night with my daughters for the last 4 years. I knew I needed to make a change. I just didn't know what type of change it was. So what happens when business starts taking over your life? And what happens when hard work doesn't cut it anymore? I thought I was successful. I thought that's what success was, money. And I thought that's what I was giving my daughters. I wanted to grow a great company. And that's still in me. And I still wanted to do that. But something that I wanted to be proud of, but at what expense? Where the hell do I start? So this right here is a book called Predictable Success by Les McCowan. And this is a framework, an excellent way to understand your businesses, where you are in your business, and the struggles that go through as you grow. As you look on the left side, early struggles. Some of us in our audience, some of us in the clouds are in the early struggles. This is when you start your business. You're the visionary. You have passion. You have charisma. You're resilient. This stage is exciting, but it's also filled with anxiety because 80% of businesses fail at this stage. The next stage is fun stage. This is where you reach that things are going right. You found a profitable market. You're making the services. Cash is coming in. It's exciting. There's a future. Here's where all the myths and legends start. Then you get into whitewater. You start to grow. Maybe you put a few systems in place. Maybe you did something. You're getting more people. But what happens, your business becomes more complex. It's no longer easy. There's issues, there's errors. More people are involved. Leadership are struggling. This is where I was. And this is where many of the companies that I go into are in the whitewater stage, trying to get to the utmost, the predictable success on top. This is a stage where business can scale. You could get larger. You have success in the market. You have a leadership team. Now, this is where I wanted to be. And I'm wondering, this is where you want to be also because you're here at this seminar. So I look back, I got to tell you, it was very simple. These are the three keys. There's three keys, very, very simple keys. You've heard them all before. It just isn't the easiest thing to put together or figure out how to put them together. But I had found a way from going from 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to 20 hours a week, going from just hopefully making, almost breaking $1 million of sales to $18 million of sales. For 10 years at first, trying to break the million, and 10 years of making that 18 million. Going from a work owner to a collaboration. Going from a single intelligence, it's not that very good, to a team intelligence. Now look, I can't promise you that you follow these things, that you're going to have the stellar growth that I had. But I promise you, though, with these three keys, you will grow and you will make more profit. And at the end of this, putting this together, I want you to find the success that you're looking for. One of the successes is time. So I want to know, in the cloud, we have a few people here in the audience. Anytime you want to have a question, please stop me. I want to make this interactive. Raise your hand. In the cloud, we have Catherine here. She's right on the ball here. Technically sound, and she'll be able to answer all the questions. So please, if you had a question, put it in there. Catherine's going to stop me. So I like to make this as interactive as possible. So what are these three keys? Three keys: leadership development, employee development, and system development. Simple. You've heard them all before. You've heard it all along. So most people start with systems. Most people come in there and they want to build systems. They look, have a company, let's put systems in. You hear it all the time. You go to a coach, you go to a consultant, you go to seminars, even my seminar here, systems, buzz, 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 systems. But what happens here is you come out of this, of the fun stage, and you go into whitewater because these systems are making you more effective, making you grow, but you turn into white waters and you turn into chaos. So the problem is for those systems to run, you have to look at the people that are running these systems. So here's where we're going to start this evening. Employee development. What is employee development? What I'm going to do is these three, I'm going to tell you the what, I'm going to tell you the why, and then I'm going to show you how to put them into place. Okay. So what is employee development? It's given the time, the resources, the tools, and the coaching. So you could create this environment for the people that are working for you. You want them to thrive. You want them to grow. You want them to feel valued. You want them to feel safe. You want them to care about what you do and how they do it. So why is this important? It's important because you help your employees be the best. Guess what? Your company becomes the best. So how do you develop your people? Now, I have 3 steps that I'm going to go over. There's many more steps, but these are 3 very, very top steps. First one, you hire for values. Skills are second. Now, I am sure that everybody's been into a cheesecake factory. No matter where you are in the country, whether you're in Boston, Connecticut, Florida, Chicago, these things are run like a top. Everybody has a position. Everybody's doing something. Everybody's walking around knowing what they're doing. Everybody's getting food, service, the beauty of it. So I went back and I looked up on the web and the CEO, and I looked at what's going on with this place. And I found out exactly the same thing. The CEO says, I hire for company fit. I don't do anything. Of course, you're going to come in if you're a cook, you have some skills, but I look for fit. One of the whys that he has for fit, he has $1,000 per square foot of table space. They measure restaurants by table space. So $1,000 per square foot of their table spaces in their restaurants. That's double the national average. So you could see, oh, that's a big, big why. So how do you do this? How do you hire for values? Now, I remember some of my values. I still remember today. I believe in team. I believe in systems. I believe in education. I believe in image. Like, so what do you do when you hire first for values? Do you say, do you believe in team? Of course, you're gonna get the answer, yes. Do you know systems? Yes. Everything's a yes. I start asking questions. I start talking about what's your best project? What's your worst project? And the reason why I do that is I want to hear from them. They say, what's your worst project? And they say, Dominic, we did this and I took it away from them. And I commanded them and I told everybody what to do. Or if they tell you, I did it myself. I said, heck with everybody here in my team. I just did it myself. That means that they're not a team player. Listening to their words. So I ask questions of that nature. Things about systems. Now we have systems in our place. Well, we have to learn them. So education is a big, big value of ours. I'll ask people like, what courses did you take? What books have you read? I'm listening to this because if you could see that they're teachable and they're coachable, they have their values. Now, I want to make something clear. It's not about good people. It's not about bad people. I rarely hired people because they're not good. I did not hire them because they were not a good fit. So the reason Cheesecake, the reason that we grew, part of the reason, one of the keys was employee development is that you have longer retention and more profits. And I'll take that really any day. Second thing is once you hire them for values, you go to orientation. This gives the best chance of survival in their new environment. They don't know what's going on. They're new. They don't know the systems. They don't know the people. They don't know the flows. You're there to help them with orientation. I see so many companies just hire somebody, give them a day of education and let them go. Well, one of the keys to employee development is an orientation period. You look at one of the CEO, I went back to Cheesecake, they gave 2 weeks for cooks or 2 weeks for waiters and wait staff. They gave 12 weeks to cooks. They even gave a week to dishwasher. And they spend over $2,000 per person per year. And they have over 17,000 employees across the country. So they pay a big buck. So why is it important? It gives the employee the best chance of survival. You want to see not only that they could survive, but if they're a good fit. My program, I had a 3-month orientation. I wanted to teach them about systems, process. I wanted to teach them about values. I wanted to give them a coach. They had a mentor. I usually give it 3 months because at the end of 90 days, there's laws, especially with health insurance. We had 401ks, we had profit sharing plans, we had benefits for education. So I really invested in the people that worked with me. So I wanted to make sure they were the right fit. Just to be again, I want to say, it's not because they're bad people, just that they were a bad fit. So once a person is in and you find they're going through an orientation, there is the third step is career development. So what's career development? It's helping the employee become successful. When you develop their careers, their aspiration, and their future, you will find that this is something that's going to excite these men and women that are working for you. It's the same as orientation, but there's more to it because now you want to help them become something more. I've had a young lady that worked for me, her name was Darlene, and she was in accounts payable. So I was having career development at the time. Now, I don't know, a lot of times you see career development that gets called other performance reviews. I hated the hell out of that. I hated doing the review, and I'm sure the people hated the vice versa. So we've changed it to career development because we're looking to see how they did over a period of time. And the young lady came to me, surprised the heck out of me. She goes, Dominic, one of the things I wanted to develop in my career was I wanted to do and understand more accounting, more of the financials. I do the accounts payable. I'm a bookkeeper. I said, wow, that's an aspiration. So I put a program for her over the next year, from educations, online courses, things of that nature, mentoring from me. Could you imagine now I have a bookkeeper that could do some accounting work for me now? She has an aspiration. Imagine how the company, again, just grew from that. So that's what career development does for people. I want to create the same thing I want to create for me, a life. I want to create the same thing for them. So the right employee, hire for values, orientate for the best chance of survival, and career development for their aspiration in their future. At the end, I have a tool that would help you out. So I'll give you the link at the very end of the presentation. And any questions? Any questions from the cloud? Any questions around here? Okay, good. Let me go on to the next one there. Oh, okay. Career development. So there's many more that you're going to find, but those are the three solid ones you start with. Now, if you're starting your company out, you're probably the only person in the company. But when you start hiring, hire for values because you want them to start acting like you do. So you have to hire for those values. So career development helps the person out. So if you came to work for me and you were a foreman, I had a landscaping company, you were a foreman and you had a crew, you may have aspirations to become a supervisor or a manager. I want to help you get there. It helps me, it definitely helps you, and the company gets helped. That's what career development is. Okay. Okay. Anything else in there? No? All right. We're back to the pyramid of success here. As you can see, systems, the network of people we just did. So where do these employees get their values? How does the company live, work, and play? What does the future hold? And this is the next key. Next key is leader development. Now, what is it? It's transforming you, the worker, a worker owner, into a leader. It's a transformation. You want to get everything up here, out, and put on paper. You want to get everything up here, and you want to teach. You want to mentor. You want to give the employees owner-like decision powers, as scary as that sounds. So we're going to look at quickly 3 areas, what they are, why they're important, and I'll show you somehow how to do some of them. So the first part of leader development is developing yourself as a leader. Your know-how, your decision-making powers, your values. You want to go from a glorified worker owner and you want to go to become a leader, a teacher, a mentor, the visionary. Now, of course, in the beginning, in early struggles, in the fun stage, you're doing everything. The reason why you're in Whitewater is because you're still doing everything and you're growing beyond your means. This is the part now where you have to start developing yourself as a leader. What got you to Whitewater, it's not going to get you to predictable success. Now, this is, for me, was one of the hardest areas. There was trust issues, know-how. There was things like, how do you duplicate them? How do you give up your power? Very, very scary area. But it's one of the areas that rocketed us in 10 years to 18 million. This was the linchpin. So how do you do this? I can tell you just a quick story. I was orientating a new worker. Her name was Laura, and she was in the second month of orientation. And I remember Sunday night, I was home watching TV with my wife. My kids were asleep. My partner calls me up and says, frantic on the phone, screaming and yelling. He was doing invoicing, and the client profile was incomplete. And he knew it was this young lady, Laura, because I was orientating her to do the work. Crazy, tried to calm him down. She wanted him to call. No way I'm going to call somebody at 9 o'clock Sunday night. I said, I'll take care of it in the morning. When I get there in the morning, I have her sister at the front door saying, you better get to Laura because she's crying her little eyes out. She's quitting. What happens? My partner gets there and blasts her. This is the owner. Hear me roar. Okay. The worker owner. Okay. This is my partner. So I calmed her down, walked in there, wrestled with my partner, says, get out there and apologize. So after about 10 minutes of this, he goes and apologizes. I sit down with Laura. Now, when you sit down as a worker owner, you could see what could happen. You get pretty aggravated. Someone's making a mistake, losing you money. I sat down there, took my time with her, says, show me what you did. And she showed me what she did. And I said, this client profile that goes to the next level needs these things. She took those things because she had no space in the cabinet, put in a box, labeled it, put it upstairs. I said, beautiful. That you really took initiative. Great. Yet you're in orientation. You have to realize what happens the next person that touches it. Light bulb went up in her head. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. So I tell you this story because it really meant something to her and meant something to me, because there's a difference between a worker owner and a leader. I started becoming a leader because my job was to mentor her. My job was to coach her. My job wasn't to slap her. My job was to help her. And I did. She became pretty much the longest employee in that company. So that's what it means to develop yourself as a leader. The second part is strategic objective. It's a one-page document. It's the who, what, when, and where. Now, when you start your company and you're in the fun stage and you're in this early stages, you're probably going to do the who and the what. When you start getting into the white water and get into predictable success, you want the other what, where, and when. So why is this important? You want to know who your employees are. You want to know who your clients are. You want to know what services you give them. Obviously, what services you don't give them. When you have this down something and you hire somebody, you're giving them power. You're giving them understanding. So when a client is in front of them, they know the difference. I was a landscaper during the summer, and I was a snow provider in the winter for 4 states. When we were commercial in the winter, we were in the summer high-end estates in the Greenwich, Fairfield, Westchester counties. When someone came to me for snow, who is your client for snow? Commercial. When a residential person came, my sales crew knew who to hire. Said, excuse me, we don't do that. Vice versa, high-end estate, we don't do commercial spring and summer. It just gives the idea of who they are. It's also for marketing. Once you have the who, you know where to market. So the who, what, when, and where. When you get back to the white water and you get to the predictable success, when you're going to be a certain amount and where these clients are located becomes important. So for instance, when you had the win, we were $700,000. I remember it was 1996. Okay. We had a 5-year plan to be 3 million. That's the win. You set your company up. You're given your stuff in your brains. Employees aren't mind readers. Put it on paper. Simple 1-page. who, what, when, and where. So back to predictable success, you could see early stages and fun, they need the who and the what. When you get to the whitewater and predictable success, you need to know what, where, and when. And then the third statement is the value statement. Okay, that's the third step in leader development. It's the reason you exist, how you act with clients, how you act with company, how you act with each other, the way the company acts. Now you could see having this value strong ties in to how you hire. This is where it comes from. And values turn into culture. If you have an owner that's only interested in money, well, it's going to rub off on the employees. They're going to look for money and money only. Some people like that is, hey, look, we're business people. We want money. That's not the case. We're not crazy people here. We want money. Yet, if you're only out for yourself, when you have an employee that's out for money, when you get someone who gets $1 extra an hour, $5 an extra, that person's gone. You have to have these values entrenched. I remember my values from 1996. That's how solid these are. It's service to client, period. Systems run the company. Professional people, career developed people run the systems. Education is our hub. And lastly was image in everything we did. These things turned into our culture. They gave the priorities. Again, taking it out of your head and putting it on paper. What do you value? Service to client, period. Of course, that had to do with making sure you had the right clients, but you have to service the client. That was above all. Education. These are values and culture. And it ties back again to how you hire and orientate. It's almost like a tree. You hug a tree when you start growing, just like your company. And as the tree gets bigger and bigger, you can stop all the squirrels and all the bugs that come up and the funguses because you have your hands around it. When it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you have a hole. Squirrels could run up, eat all your acorns. You could go like this, protect this area here, but they go up this area. You want to fill those with people, with value-oriented people. Okay, so that's the beauty of having value-driven people that are hired, but you have to become that leader, so you're hiring that way. Questions again? Does anybody in the audience have questions, or anybody out there in cloud land? Okay. Okay, so back to the pyramid. Now we're talking systems. These are what run your company. Think of a three-legged stool. If you have one-legged stool and you stand on it, say you have systems, you could probably balance a little bit because you're an owner, you balance pretty good. But sooner or later, you're going to fall over. Do the second tier. Put two-legged stool. You could probably balance again, but you won't go side to side anymore, but you may go face first, plant face first, or lay on your butt. The third leg, you could stand on that, you could dance on that, you could jump around. That's what systems do. They're foundational. So we're going to go lastly, when you develop yourself as a leader, you get your brains out, become a mentor, you're a visionary, you have a strategy, your values are left there, you hire to values, you career and you orientate them and career develop your employees. Now you could give them systems because now they're going to act like you. They're going to think like you. They have the values of you. You're not making clones. You're making a cohesive team. So how do you get your company to run consistent? How do you get into that predictable success? And these are tools or standardized templates. There are also systems that give the employee how to work. Systems run the company. People run the systems. leaders mentor the people. So why is that important to have systems? You want to create the same result over and over and over and over and over and over again. Simple as that. When you're one person, you do that over and over and over again. You're owners. You know what you're doing. So, but how about all the other people? Again, they're going to have a foundation. They're going to be trained. They're going to be orientated. They're going to have values. They're going to have a strategy. They're going to know who, what, when, and where. They're going to know why they exist. Now they have to do the daily tasks. And this is where the mundane work comes in. And you want them to focus on the client. So make them do the mundane work. So right here, let's take a look at systems. So what are systems? Departmental systems. Departmental systems are what runs the department. You have a sales department, production, service, accounting, financial. They're departments, have various functions in it. It works as a whole. You go into sales, you have estimate systems, you may have contract systems, you may have follow-up systems, you may have proposal writing. Those are all the systems, but they're in sales. The second thing you have is the interdepartmental systems, how it's connected. Laura was connected to the sales. She was in accounting. She was connected to sales, where they did the invoices. That part of that company was doing part of that department. How was she connected? That's what interdepartment systems are. How is accounting connected to production? How is sales connected to accounting? How is sales connected to production? How is it connected back? These are the systems that connect now departments. When you're one person, you're the connective tissue. You're 10 people. How do you connect one department to the next department? You can't run around again like the tree. You just can't run around. You can, but you're in whitewater. Sooner or later, you're gonna fall off that stool. The next thing they have is templates. These are now standardized way of doing something. If you do an estimate, you should have the template to do the estimate. You have an invoicing system, you should have it standardized. Work orders, standardized. Contracts, standard. These are the templates that run. These are what's given to the people to help them do their work. Last but not least, how does your company flow? Now, I'll give you an example of an estimate work order. Now, when I was back and you saw me with my six-pack and my eyeglasses and all those protective gear when I was that landscaper, I could get a piece of paper. I could get a piece of toilet paper, but I'd be able to make an estimate because I knew what to do. I'm the owner. I've done it over and over and over and over again. You know, what are the hours? What's the description? What material I need? I could write that down anytime I want. But what would happen now when you get more people? Now, we had over 300 people working for us during the winter. When you had to estimate, we had 6 estimators. When I gave them that template, they knew exactly what they needed to get to give it back to, so the proposal could be made. They could do hundreds of these things. If a client came over to them and said, "Excuse me, I want to talk to you," you could stop immediately because when you go back, you know what to fill out. You don't forget. So that stage of estimates, that template made them more effective and more efficient. Took it out of my brain and gave it to them. So I had these men and women run around the state in 4 states to be able to get that work done. That's what a template does for you. Efficiency, effectiveness. It's like McDonald's French fries, done the same way no matter where. And then here is an example of a flow. Say it starts in sales. You can see it goes into the office. See the connective tissue that goes into production. See the connective tissue that goes back into the office and goes back into sales. It's a flow. This is what I teach When I was doing education, I taught that. Everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody knew what everybody else was doing. Laura learned very quickly what to do. She had her systems. She was always inventive, and she came back to someone who was above her. I happened to be her mentor at the time. That was it. She had other mentors when we got bigger. I couldn't mentor everybody. But she knew now how her department affected the next department. So if she made a better system in that department, I'm all for it. Yet we have to make sure it doesn't affect the other departments and the other people in the departments. So that's a flow. Any more questions? No. Okay. So when you put these three things together, when you put these three keys together, many people, you know, I don't know in the audience to have what kind of company. Are we in the early stages? We're in the early stages, okay? In the fun stages?
Fun.
Okay,
Challenging, maybe.
okay, we're worker owners. We're worker owners. We're doing all the work. Of course, we're full of piss and vinegar. We really are. Yeah, but are you willing to do something different? Are you willing to make the growth? If you're willing and you want to do something, look at those three keys. Those three keys working together will get you out of whitewater. You're always going to hit whitewater. Then you fix what you have to fix. But you could see systems are running the company, being clockwork, over and over again, doing the same thing. The people that are educated, that are career developed, are running those systems and growing your company. And you now become, at one point, a leader. So now you're a visionary. Now you're strategy. Now you're a mentor. You're the linchpin. You're not the worker owner anymore. And that's the key of putting these together. And when I thought success was, I don't know, does everybody know what success is? Does anybody know? Do you know what success is? What's success in a business? Anybody know? Everything works, okay? Growth, okay. How about money, finance? Well, it is part of success. But I want to introduce something to you about success when you're running your company and living your life. And that is called the 4 types of successes. And this is where I'm going to close on the 4 types of successes. In the beginning, I just thought it was financial success. If someone came to me, I'm a big time business owner, big time. I'm working 24/7. They don't really know that. Making money, making good money. But my girls are growing without me. And that really hurt. And I didn't want that. I wanted success in the truest sense of the word, just to know what it was until I learned it as I went on. Of course, there's financial success. That's what you're in business for. I mean, really. Most people think this way. It's money, it's investment. But chasing this financial success over everything else, it's gonna come up and catch up to you, as it did to me in Disney World. Okay, money indeed does not buy happiness. You've heard that. You have to have money to run your company. I'm not trying to kid you guys. I'm just letting you know that's one of the successes. So just ask one of my daughters if they think that's success. They'll probably tell you no. Social success. Some think of it as status. Others, relationship. Your family, your friends, your professional network, score. Your local community. That's crucial. This is very crucial, this part. This is what I had to learn myself. Very crucial for your mental health and happiness. This social success, very powerful stuff. gives you that sense of belonging. There's meaningful. It's having a few genuine close relationships beats a lot of weaker ones, that's for sure. Health is another success. Physical, mental well-being. Do you exercise? How's your diet? How's your sleep? How's your mindfulness? I don't know how you could enjoy anything else. You're not going to be able to enjoy your social life. You're not going to be able to enjoy your money if you're sick. So taking care of your health, that success means something. It's a very powerful part of success. Ignoring your health becomes dire. Last, this is what I wanted. Never knew it, but this is what I wanted. Your time success. Is your work schedule flexible? Do you have time for loved ones? Time for hobbies? Time for meditation? Time is finite, everyone. Finite. My mother-in-law is 95 years old. She's living a good life. It's still finite. Good 95 years, I have to go up to that age. It's also one of the most neglected wealth. One of the most neglected success is your time. Your time. Not finance, not health, not social, but your time. It's the one most neglected, but it also gives you greater life satisfaction. So, everyone, you have a choice. It's not going to be an easy choice. When you're growing your company, when you're living your life, how are you developing yourself personally? How are you developing your people? How are you creating the systems that make sure your company is growing with profits, but also gives you that time, social, health, and time for yourself? Using these tools to make your business gives you that time. It's a choice. It will give you the success in the truest sense of the word. Now, these keys I shared with you, they're simple. I mean, did I give you anything that's not? I mean, it's you know it. It's very simple, very hard to do, very, very hard to do. So this is the mission. This is one of your choices you have. So I'd like just to ask you, what choices are you making? What are your dreams? I could tell you my dream started out in Tomorrowland. With Daddy, you're on the phone all the time. But it transformed into me being part of their lives. Supported my dreams. And I created a business that helped me have that life. And also, I helped employees have that same life with those three keys. I want you to have a great business because that's what you're here for. You want to grow, you want to make more profit. I also want you to be successful in the truest sense of the word. And that's a great life. So here is right there is going to be the freebie right at the very end. So please, I know that it's going to be, Catherine.
Share this with everybody. So, yeah.
It's going to be shared.
Anybody who registered will, or attended today here or online will receive your presentation.
Okay.
We will send that out.
And right now, there's my email. So at any time, if you, in the audience, in the cloud, if you have a question, I don't care where you are you in the early struggles, you're in the fun stages, you're in the whitewater stage, I hope that I help you get to the predictable success. So thank you. My name is Dominic A. Chiarella, and thank you very much for your time.
Hang on a second.
All right.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Because we got a little time here.
Okay.
So maybe before that, I was thinking about this because, yeah, this is really great information, depending on where you're at in your business, right?
Right.
You didn't wake up with your six-pack and your glasses and you already were there.
Sadly, I did wake up some mornings like that.
Okay, but you weren't already there. So how long, it took a while, right? Because you were really driven. You were this 24/7 guy.
Yeah.
the six pack and the glasses.
Well,
So.
well, let me
and then
tell you
there's
something.
one other thing I wanted to
My
say.
first company, I partnered up, and it was an electronic firm, and we did grow to 2 million. And it was a struggle with the 2 million. I learned a lot about how to run a business from that business. My partner was my dad, so he was my first mentor. So that was probably about, I'd say 7, 8 years. Then the company that I was talking about for 10 years, from 1986 to 96, is the time we just worked. We just were workers. It took solid 3 years for me to make the changeover to go. It took that 3 years, we smashed into that whitewater. You get out of it, but then you go back into it. We got the systems down. We grew to 3 million. All of a sudden, we're in whitewater because it's chaos. Because we didn't have the other elements. We didn't have the right fit employees. We didn't have the training program. We didn't have the right systems for anything over 3. Then we took a strategic objective and we went to 5 or 6 in another couple of years. Again, we went back into whitewater. I would have to say, all in all, it took me about 3 years to get into a level of predictable success. And then we shot from 5 to 18 million. So
But you had a partner, so it was, yeah.
I have to say something though.
Okay.
This is one of the more difficult things to have, is a partner. The partner was well, I guess I'm a workaholic too, but it was definitely a stark difference between the two of us. He was a worker owner forever. And I needed to change. I needed to grow. I needed to find coaches. I needed to learn. I needed to make a hell of a lot of mistakes. So you could probably handle, most jobs could handle 1 million. Most owners could handle 1 million. Maybe sometimes 2 owners that had 2 million. But like I said, once you get to a certain point, it's uncontrollable. You're losing your life. Your clients, employees are coming in and out. Again, there's these 3 keys working together form this pyramid of success. So I don't know if I answered, was that the answer?
Yeah, but one of the things that I wanted, so it really is a choice on where you want to go. So it's kind of looking at, and the business model is important, like, and that can change over time. But the other thing I wanted to ask for you, relationships are really important. So you talked about the employees' leadership and mentoring with those employees for leadership and the systems and bringing that all together. But in that journey, you also built a whole lot of relationships, because you can't really have a business without those outside relationships. Those are key to success.
Very
Correct?
key, very key,
So
because,
talk about that.
well, when I ran my company, I ran, I'll answer this one second. When I ran my company, I had 13 people under me. They always talk about this org chart, and it's like this one and no, I had 15 people directly under me. And you think, wow, holy shit, I must be going crazy. I probably spent an hour each. Some of them, probably half of them every other week. So when you looked at that, even if it was all an hour a week, you're talking 10, 12 hours of work. My job was to mentor them. My job was to be in there. So they'd come in, talk about the systems, see what broke, see what they did, see what didn't work. If they made a mistake, we talk about it. Let's work on it. Because again, I'm looking for system problems, looking for education. I'm looking for things that this person has that value, like Laura. Laura was a perfect example. She had the values. I was never going to get rid of her. Thank God I grabbed her, because again, it was just something along that line. So it's important, like I said, is that.
But you had really, I'm assuming, because you were like financially successful. Yes, I understand the whole social and your family and that. But financially, you were very successful in a very short period of time. But you have relationships on the outside in your community also that helped you catapult and with vendors and
I'll tell you
distributors.
100%.
Right.
I couldn't do it without them. I was nothing. I was a $700,000 company. Maybe I could have broke one, maybe I could have broke two, but that's all I'd be. I was 18 because of them.
Right.
There's no way on earth.
Relationships.
There's no way on earth. That's what team meant. That's what our value was, team. So that was a big difference over theirs. I gotta tell you, twice has happened to me. About 10 years later, right before COVID, I was in Home Depot and I had with my wife, and all of a sudden some guy, I had a lot of Mexicans working for me. And all of a sudden, this guy, Dominique, and two guys are running to him. I go, oh, geez, we're in the middle of Waterbury. What the hell's going on here? So I'm looking at him. Oh, it was one of my workers. I remember his name was Jose. And oh, excuse me, Jesus. And it was like Dominic, and his cousin was with him. He goes, Dom, are you Dominic? He goes, thank God I have. In the last 5 years, this kid has been talking about you for 5 years. I can't take it anymore. He wants to talk to you about it. He goes, he wanted to thank me because he knew once I left and sold my partnership to my partner, it changed, the company changed to a corporate value system, not taking care of a career develop kind of thing. He goes, you took care of us, and I wanted to thank you for all those years. You took care of it. We knew it in the audience or in the groups. So that shows you again. It took me years though. I have to say, to become the systems and the processes and the employees took about 3 years. It took me about 5 to become a leader. It was the hardest thing. You know, you're doing everything. Everybody comes to you. You're the king. You're the queen. And then you're not. Because they're the kings and queens. And now your job is to help them become the best. Then they take over. No, I had one more question. This young man over here. Yes. Yes. The quick answer is yes. When you said to make mistakes, if there was 1,000 things that I had to do over those years, probably 900 of them was mistakes. How you do it is, you start doing the basics, start in the strategic objective area. So you start it with who your clients are, really down and dirty. You need to know exactly who they are and who they're not, and what services you provide. So you start in that area there. And then when you're doing your work, keep a book with you. It's a playbook. And anytime that you're doing something, try to write down that process. Because as you grow, those processes are going to be given to somebody else. So those two things right there is the start when you're in the early stages. And you say, well, I'm doing everything myself. I got it. As you're writing, it's done. Systems and templates, they help out. So you do a little bit of systems, you do a little bit of the strategic. You hire, if you hire somebody, figure out your values. I tell you, I had to get rid of I had a salesperson that was incredible, but he was creating so much havoc in the company because he wouldn't use systems. I hired him on the spot because I knew him because he was a subcontract of ours. Smart guy, but wasn't a good fit. When I sat him down a bunch of times to say, this is what we need, let me help you with the systems, that kind of thing is, he'd do it a little bit, then go back. And then finally, when I let him go, he said, you got to be kidding me. I'm your best salesperson. You are, but you're creating havoc and I can't do your work. I can't have other people do your work. So I think it's that strategy and creating this playbook would help you out. But when you have the who and the what, you know what you don't do, and you know you're not your clients. What do you do? Digital market? What kind of digital market? Mm-hmm. You use software for them, or and you go into companies, or you're starting a company, and you're starting a job that So who are your clients? It does. Yet how do you advertise or market to everyone that needs that? Word of mouth. Okay.
This is really good. So part of what SCORE does, our principal main service is we provide free mentoring for people who have either pre-startup, startup, or you're already in your business. So really suggest that I can give you one of my cards and you can go through the SCORE Western Connecticut or score.org, and we will connect anybody who does not have a mentor. We're all mentors, and we have two other mentors back here, Marlene and Paul. I'm Catherine, and you've already met Dominic. And we have like, I think 45 mentors in this part of the state. So I really highly recommend, because it's free and we really want to see you succeed. We all do this volunteer because we want to give back based on our experience and our education. And we love doing it. Small businesses make up 99% of the business community in the United States. That's a big deal. So if you have a small business, you need to connect with us one way or another. Now, we do a lot of workshops. We have webinars. If you go on our website, we have, there's a lot of resources. So I really highly recommend that you connect with us. One of us, or a bunch of us. Oh, awesome.
Good.
Are there any other questions?
Does that answer your question? No. Okay. Was I?
Yeah.
What do you mean? One of my companies? One of my, what? My first company was, we made coils, transformers, and they're electronic components. And that was, in the 70s and 80s. And then we sold it. Then I went to landscaping, and I did a third company was, parts and repair of, equipment, small equipment. It was like a secondary add-on, but that grew to quite a big, very, very big enterprise. So.
Well,
Where can we get your book? Mail case.
Amazon.
Well,
Where do you get books?
Springtime, springtime, there's gonna be springtime.
Oh, okay. That's when it's gonna be available?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
My
That's
first
great.
book,
That's awesome.
took me 66 years to write the thing.
Since I
Go
have a business, like going to a corporation, then I'm never been on that side. So there's a lot of questions that I have. I
Okay.
couldn't mention.
What kind of questions do you have?
This is a corporation, it's not a LLC money.
Would you start again?
Well, I have a business. It's a
Okay.
tie business.
It's a,
Tie, like mainly it's like not a tire.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Oh, it's tired.
So
Okay.
repair and tires, okay,
Okay, store,
All-
like service, like Firestone, like.
It's your business.
okay, so,
Okay, my business, sorry. So now my family got into it, but I made it into a corporation. So I have no idea what I am.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
you don't know what your position is in?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So they kind of took it over.
They took it over and then I make decisions and they have to ask permission for it.
So you started it.
I
You
started.
probably, did you need capital to expand or grow?
But
And they kind of,
those are things that, like I said, we need this, I need that, I used to run it like you did.
Mhm.
You know.
You did
that's what we
everything.
see,
Yeah.
And then now, sort of like, things that I did myself. It's hard to get a group and see. You know, ask for something that's so obvious. My personal thinking, I don't think I need to ask. But when I do it, I said, well, I did it. I said, well, it's not working. Like, you see, I'm type of thing.
Mhm.
So, but I said like me that I don't know where I am,
Okay.
that's my age.
Well, you know,
Kinda, sort of,
but here's
It's a
a,
family business.
well,
Yeah.
here's what happens, because I had a couple family businesses. What is your position?
I want to build that, I don't think.
What is your, what is your
but they
position?
have to have me as in the corporation, I have like, have ownership,
Mhm. Okay, so you're a partner.
a partner.
Okay, got it. But what is your position in the company? A position is what you do. Okay. Well, you're in Whitewater, and one of your problems, maybe problems in the company is no one knows their position, what they are responsible for, and who they're responsible to. It's position,
So
Okay.
those are all those questions that I have.
right? So you need to work on your strategy, your strategic objective, your value statement, and your positions.
Exactly, that's why I was asking for that.
I mentioned to everybody that there are certain areas that I didn't get into because I only have an hour here. But the part is that I did not go over it. And if I have another seminar, I'll get into the employee development, which is detailed. There's a lot more into that area. But knowing your position means you know what you're responsible for.
I used to know everything. But since instead of like you mentioned, you went from knowing business and then you kind of took over and then.
Yeah,
It's like a that present value.
I did the same thing what you were saying over there is I created a playbook. So everything I did, because I did everything, I wrote it down. But then I created positions. And then I would hire to that position. In the beginning, I wasn't very successful. Reason, values. I was just hiring warm bodies. They look good. Here's a resume. Oh, they're great. Come on in. Next thing you know, they're a nightmare. Why? Their values weren't the same as my values. Not that they're bad people. Please, it's not that they're bad people. But I had it where certain positions. When I had talked about Darlene, and talked about even my other partner, he was the head of the sales. I was the operation manager. All these things. Thanks, guys. Any questions, you email me, okay? Okay. So I created positions, and then I took the systems that I had in the playbook and took them all out and said, okay, this one's going to be data capture. This one's going to be an estimator. This one's going to be a crew chief. And they had certain systems and certain responsibilities. And I trained them and mentored them over a 3-month period to make sure that they knew their job. Because really, did they know their job? You got to added issue is family. Because blood is sometimes poisonous. I'm not trying to be their poisonous people. It's just you get enemies. Next thing you know is you're not going Thanksgiving next week and you're not even at Thanksgiving.
No, I asked for a mentor here.
You
But,
have, oh yeah, but here, I mean, you my card. So
okay, yeah, actually speaking like this,
Yeah,
that's
so
how I
you, I mean, the way it works is, our administrator will connect you with someone with that experience. So you can connect with me and I will connect you with them, but here you go. So I think that would be really helpful, don't you think? A mentor, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, because you're going to take things apart.
You got lucky, you got mentoring from your dad and stuff like that.
And my dad helped me. Tremendous dad was, I learned how to run a business. We didn't know how to grow one though. We failed miserably. And I was lucky that I had books I read. I went to associations like this, but also industry associations, helped me build systems. But I have that engineering mind.
The vision, the thing.
Right.
Exactly. And that's the thing that, like I say, you want a team. You
Yeah,
know, you say,
right.
okay, one, you're part of the team, but then sometimes they feel like, oh, I don't even.
No, what happens again is when you have a strategic objective and you have a value, a culture, and you put it onto the board, you have the family sit down saying, okay, guys and gals, what are we going to do for the 5 years future? What are we gonna do? You put it on the board. That's a strategic objective. Here's our values that we believe in. Now let's build an organizational chart, the positions, the know-how, the who, what, when, and where. Now you say we have to start making and start becoming a business. It's a free-for-all. And it gets like that. Because that Whitewater, we grew from 700, we blew right to 2 million. What a nightmare, 2 million. I thought I got here, I'm successful. Oh my God, it was worse. I was working more than 24 hours, 7 days a week. If there was 8 days, I was working 8 days. Why? Because like you said, there's chaos now. No one knows their position. No one knows their strategy. I didn't get that in quick enough. There were systems making everybody more efficient, making money, but it was making hell for everybody. You're in Whitewater, it's called. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows where they're going. No one knows what responsible for, and they don't know how to get there.
Exactly, no, they got there one step. But this is step, it's not that we're there yet.
But when you put a strategic objective on the board, you work your way backwards. When we had our first one, it was 700, we were gonna go to 3. Then you work your way backwards. What does that mean? What does 3 million mean? What does it mean with people? What does it mean with systems? What does it mean with equipment? What does it mean with clients? You got to go backwards then. Okay, sales. If we have 100 clients and now you're a million and you got 3 million, well, guess what? You probably need 300 clients. It's just that simple as that. If you have 10 trucks, I'm doing landscaping, but it's the same thing is, well, geez, 10 trucks for $1 million. Well, you're going to need 30 trucks. So then you know how much you're going to buy, who you're going to hire, all that kind of stuff is, but it starts in the strategy. You're in trouble because
My strategies, I cannot share them, and they don't let me share.
you know why? No one can read your mind. Can't read your mind. I thought they could read my mind. They couldn't read my mind.
That's so 100% right. It's like, I mean, I said, I shouldn't speak, guy. I don't have to say anything. I mean, it's clearer than anything.
We want to help you, so connect with us.
I mean, that's what
I hate to cut you off, but we do, they're gonna kick us out of here, but thank you, this is awesome.
thank you.
Thank you all for coming, we had like about 25 people online, so that was